Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Premier Sim Gaming League's YouTube channel. It's the turn of the PS4 F8 League to take centre stage here for round 2 of Season 28 at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. My name is Jake, and I'm happy to say that once again I'm joined by Bryn. What are you expecting from this race tonight?
Rain, safety cars, impatient drivers, and odd strategies.
I can agree with some of those for sure. Definitely the safety cars and odd strategies for sure. We'll see regarding the drivers and obviously the rain. We've got a dry qualifying, so that's a good start for them. We've got a 19 driver field with a couple of reserves that have stepped up for tonight. Both of them in the Racing Point, arguably the favourites for the constructors. Felix and Jonas are not here this evening, so gives an opportunity for some of the other drivers to maybe have a bit of a shock result this evening.
So, I mean, like, as we saw last week, Felix and Jonas, they weren't pushing up the front, but Felix certainly had the pace apart from when he got damage. But we've definitely got to put the limelight on Cam, Calm Bros, and Super Guy NL. They were quick last time out, so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Super Guy NL was super quick, and I expect that he could be a championship contender all the way through. We've got a Red Bull who's out first on track. I'm going to guess Alex, because everything that I've seen so far suggests... Oh, no. I was about to say, I wouldn't have thought Tim Matz would have wanted to get out there too quickly, but no, he is out there. Tom AJ actually slots just in front of him, so I'll go on board with Tom AJ as he begins his outlap in the AlphaTauri. Of course, Tom AJ actually got 4th place last week, which was a very decent result for him. The top 3, Super Guy NL, it's Pinston, one of the reserves, who once again is taking part this evening, so expect him to do pretty well. And Jonas, who of course isn't here this evening. But it's fair to say, Bahrain Short and Singapore, you can't really get two more polar opposite tracks if you tried.
You certainly couldn't, because you're going from one which is... What is Matt's doing? Sorry, he just locked up heavily going through a corner that's very easy to say the least. Is that you got Bahrain Short very low downforce, but then you've only got a couple of low speed corners. Whereas here it's constant. You've got corner, corner, corner. You don't have any break apart from like the straights are there, but they're only short, so you don't have much time to recuperate.
No, definitely, and with 31 laps as well, it does tend to be one of the longer races that we have across the season. 23 turns as well. Oh, what on earth is happening there? Cam and Tom AJ going side by side on their outlaps, and was a bit of contact between the pair as Cam sneaks by. Clearly Cam eager to do his outlap at a bit of a faster pace. I mean, from a driver's point of view, are you a slow outlap person or a fast outlap person?
Definitely a slow outlap, because all that Cam is doing there is putting excessive tyre wear onto his car, and certainly you think he would have them. He's been in league racing for a while, so you think he'd have the knowledge to maybe take that steady outlap, not worry about putting too much wear on the tyres. But he's not aware that he's probably put on, I'd say, at least 2%. He's probably on the tyres, and I just looked at his line through there. And how was that not invalid?
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I was going to be right in the limit. I straight away looked to the track map and expected to see it lit up all in red, but he's got away with it somehow. And of course, XL Ryan has retired from the session because he has a qualifying ban for this evening. I'm a little bit surprised though, because I believe that you're probably worth going out there just to load your setup in, which I don't think he's done. So.
I think you can get away with it now, but at the start of the game you couldn't.
Okay, so he will of course start from the back, providing that everyone else does manage to get laps in. And as well as that, it's important to note that Harold, actually no, it isn't important to note because he's not here. But I was about to say Harold does have a 5-second penalty added to his race time, but that will roll over to the next race he takes part in, I'm fairly sure. So he's not going to get out of that just by not turning up this week. As we've got Cam through the far sector. One reason potentially why Cam may have taken it a bit harder on his outlap is he's on the medium tyre for his opening lap. An interesting strategy is he had to take 2 bites of a cherry there on turn in, so clearly maybe getting to grips with a circuit, maybe not done too many practice laps. This definitely looks like a lap of someone who is still very much finding their feet around this circuit.
Certainly does, but I will say that normally I do know Cam does a lot of practice usually, so interesting. As Matt, all I'm going to say, he's about 5 tenths slower than what he was doing in practice, so...
And Brandon goes up into P1 on a 1:34.2. Tim Matz did a 35.0 on mediums. That's not a bad lap, actually. Just a few tenths off cam. A decent opening lap. Let's see who else we've got out there. The Calm Bros is someone I'm interested to see how they get on this evening. Ultimately, it wasn't the result they looked for last week at Bahrain Short, but to say that it was their first race in a competitive league, pace-wise, they certainly look to be right on the money, as Ugi Azim now goes to provisional pole position. And it's worth noting for him, he took the win at Monaco last season, so maybe we've got a bit of a street circuit specialist at Ugi.
Can we just not talk about Monaco last season? Thank you. Anyway, he is very good around tight circuits, I will say. Having raced him last season in F7, he was absolutely monstrous, and it was kind of ridiculous, if you know what I mean. Like, Jesus Christ, where's this pace coming from?
Yeah, some drivers just seem to have that certain feel for these sort of circuits that you never can really explain as to why, but obviously the close walls are just something they're absolutely okay with. On board with Vitz Pinson is on his first attempt on the soft tyre. A lot of drivers doing their opening lap on medium tyres by the looks of it. Interesting sort of change of strategies there. I mean, that would suggest, at least to me, that there's no rain planned, at least for the start of the race, because I feel like if there was, you would just see everyone out there on softs usually.
Yeah, so one of my predictions is wrong yet again! This is why I'm not a Mystic person!
Well, I made a prediction Racing Point would be very tough to stop in the constructors, and well, neither of them are here this evening, so that's gone tremendously. We've got
I think maybe we should stop prediction.
Yeah, there's a reason that if anyone follows me on Twitter, I never ever post predictions, because I just don't want, especially if it's in writing as well on Twitter. I feel like I'll get messages of people saying stop predicting me to do well.
It's alright. Matt knows that the worse he does, the more the mickey I'm going to take out of him.
TV Sen pops it into second place. Still 4 attempts adrift of Ugi's first lap, so it just shows what a good lap that was, as Volker goes into the pit lane in the Renault. One of the key things ahead of this race from the stewards was you have to enter the pit lane correctly, so no running, you've got to keep to the left hand side of the track and keep it within the lines, and if you don't, you could face a penalty, so it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully everyone adheres to that. I've got to say, one lap time that's catching my eye early on in the session is Alex's lap time. 34.5 on mediums is pretty good going.
It certainly is good going, but I will say this now, I know there is difference, but in F11, their pole man was a 34.0 on the mediums.
Wow, so already not too far off this pace, so that just shows how quick those times in F11 were. In fact, I believe, if I'm right in saying, F11, the whole front row was medium tyre runners, which was just quite bizarre, really.
It really was, because considering as well, the pole lead, I think there's some sort of curse in F11. If you qualify on pole, you always finish down at the lower end of the points, because that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult thing to do. Like, obviously, you get the pole position or lap right, but you've got to get the 31 laps right too, and that's such a tricky thing to do around this track. And like you say, safety cars, strategies, they're going to play such a big part in the result this evening. So it's about just doing the right things at the right time. And one thing I have noticed is sometimes it can be a bit of a hindrance having your teammate super close to you, because ultimately if you need to pit on a certain lap, you can't really both pit together, otherwise one of you's going to lose a lot of time. So it almost helps sometimes having a teammate who's a little bit further either behind or ahead.
That's what I will say about last season F's. Right, okay, he's not going to like this, but I'm going to say it. At the start of the season, it was very much like that with me and him, and as he was quicker than me, and I was quite a lot slower than him, so that was fine. But at the end of the season, the roles were really reversed, as you know.
Yeah, when you suddenly found ridiculous amounts of speed.
And he suddenly managed to find no pace and decided to go, oh, I'm going to go slow. He's gonna hate me.
I'll let you argue that one out of him later, because I don't think he'll be too impressed. But yeah, one actually comment in the chat, and it turns out you're not actually completely wrong in your prediction. Apparently, there is rain forecast for very late in the race.
They stick Bryn back.
Yeah, don't write yourself off too soon. It's turned out right. I'm going to go on board of Oogie here because I just want to see on board of a lap of him around this track because that opening lap was very good indeed. I might flip back to him though because I think Tom AJ has just started a lap. So let's see how he gets on. His 3 temps up in sector 1. So good start for him. His first lap wasn't really, I don't think, that representative on a 35.6. So I expect him to find a lot more time on this lap, providing he doesn't invalidate, which hopefully he will not. One interesting stat about this track, which I can never seem to get my head around. Believe it or not, the lap record here was set by Kevin Magnussen in 2018 on a 141. Obviously, the drivers here are going to be way underneath that, but yeah, one of the more bizarre lap records.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was saying to Matt, I think it was, or somebody else earlier on the week. It's crazy because the lap records are usually like McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, and then you get Haas, and you're like, is that a timing glitch in real life, or is that Kevin Magnussen is on?
Certainly a driver I rate quite highly, so I'll say it was a driver that did that, and I certainly don't think Haas will be setting any lap records this year, sadly. So
I don't think Haas will be able to make it past lap 1 with one person.
Tom AJ ran the final couple of corners and he moves up to 5th, a much better lap of 34.4. And what's Oogie up to? Because he's backed off, so that lap's not going to come to anything. Brandon's on a slightly improved lap and he goes up to 2nd on a 34 flat. And the Calm Bros is on medium tyres and improving. In fact, I think he did his first lap on soft, so he's actually gone from softs to mediums, but seems to be finding a bit of time. This is one of those tracks where like you could almost get the mediums to work as well as the softs.
It really is. I was in practice, like I say, in practice I can find that the mediums are quicker in some cases, but depending on the way the track conditions are, the softs can be faster. It's a very much like a mixed thing because of course, Calm Bros.
That's his lap time gone, sadly. Invalidation there. It's Pinson's on a much better lap. He's very much now switched to the soft tyre, so he's happy enough with those. Super Guy and L, the race winner from last week, he's out there on mediums. I'm interested to see what he can do because he was super quick last week, obviously around Bahrain Short, completely different racetrack to this one. It's such a weird opening 2 rounds to the season in that it's just such opposite the skills required. It's Pinson is really, I think he turned in a bit too early there and then clips a wall on the outside. It's been a bit of a scruffy end to the lap, I've got to say, and as a result it's only 6. I think there's a lot more time in there for him. A Super Guy and L moves up to 9th on mediums. Not too bad, but it's not the quickest medium tyre lap time we've seen. No,
but I will say is that he might find more time because I kind of think right now the Ferraris might end up going out on the softs, and if they do, then mediums obviously not working for the setup they may be using. For example, they might be, depending on how it's set up, it might be too oversteery, it might be too understeery. We'll have to wait and see.
Do you think any driver will set up their car thinking about the late rain possibility?
No. If it says in the chat 45 minutes, that will be literally usually towards literally like the last few minutes, last few laps. So I doubt that, but to be honest, if they are going to prepare for it, all they'll probably do is raise the ride height because it makes no real difference whether you have a wet or dry setup in this game.
Yeah, and if it's just for the end, then they just have to drag the car around, I suppose, make the best of it. As I haven't got a clue how to say SMBRTT. I don't really know how to say that, to be honest. Usually you need vowels in words for it to work, but he goes up to 12 on a 34.9. Sunbert. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sunbert. Okay, I'm gonna have to message him after this because I can't. I've got to find out an easier name to call him by because that's just not gonna work. We're just
gonna have to go SMBRRTT.
Yeah, you can't even say it quickly. That's the problem.
Yeah, you can't. Tipson's on the lap on the mediums, looking good.
Yeah, and he's up on his soft tire lap time, so this could be good for him if he can find a little bit more time. Looking pretty good so far. Had a okay season in F7 last time around, but nothing too spectacular. But looking pretty good at this stage, but he doesn't improve. Loses a bit of time in the final sector and stays third. I guess the grip of those soft tyres in the last sectors maybe where he just lost that time.
The two Red Bulls are coming out together in fourth.
Ooh, let's see how that goes. So clearly some communication going on there, making sure they're out on track at the same time, both on a set of soft tyres. And
Cam's leaving.
Cam's leaving. Let me have a look quickly at the chat to see if there's any sort of reason as to that.
I will comment on with Matt is that he very much likes to be the team leader. He likes to be the one that dictates what happens.
Of course, to keep up being team leader, I think you've got to produce the goods on track as well, and he'll know that. And it's fair to say at the moment Alex has got the edge on him in this qualifying session. It doesn't sound like there's anything scheduled in regards to why Cam disconnected, so hopefully he can rejoin.
Yeah, hopefully. We don't want to have him gone.
Now the host as well, which is unfortunate. I'm just looking at the Calm Bros at the moment, who's about to start his latest effort. Back onto soft tyres now. He's been softs, mediums, and now he's back onto the fastest tyre. Well, in theory at least, anyway. And see if he can improve on what is currently 4th place and what's looking like at the moment. Oh, and that's hopefully Free Gloves stays out of the way. That's not a great spot to come out the pits. Free Gloves gets out of the way nice. I don't think that will have cost the McLaren driver any time. But yeah, so far, 1st and 4th for McLaren, looking like a very good qualifying session for them.
It really is. Maybe we were predicting about Racing Point earlier in the season. Maybe it's McLaren that we need to be watching out for.
We've just cursed
Azuki's
it.
left.
We've just literally, what on earth? This is what I mean. I say anything and it just all goes wrong. I say, McLaren looking good here, Oogie disconnects.
Right, I've got a better... Oh no, it's retiree, thank God.
I think I said the pits as well.
I bet you, because Cam's left, the host is switched over to Game Freaker, and I bet that's what's happened. I bet you... So
there'll be a custom grid restart, Cam's saying, so obviously once qualifying's done, someone will need to get the qualifying results.
Right, I'll have to screenshot it.
Yep, so we've still got a minute to go. Oogie is now out of session, of course, but the good thing for him is that he's currently on provisional pole, but the Calm Bros is on a really nice lap here and could be about to challenge him. We've got a yellow flag going on elsewhere on the track. That looks like it might be a Red Bull, actually.
Oh! Volker on the mediums.
Volker goes up second on mediums. Calm Bros goes on to provisional pole and mixing a McLaren 1-2, a Renault 3-4. Nice symmetry at the front of the field. Let's have a look to see what Tim Matz is up to. He's 3 tenths up in the first sector on softs, and we'll see how that goes. That's a great lap time by Volker though in the Renault. Tom AJ is now out of the session in the Alpha Tauri. It looks like he's had a crash in sector 3. That's just coming up. That's just coming around turn 21, I believe. So he must have lost it on the exit there. I'm sure we're about to see it with Tim Matz actually. He goes through the far sector now, looking pretty solid. Misses the apex there a bit though. You can see the yellow flag. I wonder if we're about to see a stricken Alpha Tauri. Yes, indeed we are. You can see it there, facing the wrong way. Tim Matz goes around the final corner, and this lap time is good enough for 7th. Not a bad effort, but what's everyone else doing around him? Alex is invalidated, so he won't be improving. It's Pinson's backed out of it. Who else have we got who might be on the lap? We've got Brandon, who's out there. TV Sen is backed out of it. Super Guy NL will be starting outside the top 10. He's in 11th at best. Vapor Trench is in the final sector, and he is on a personal best, but he's invalidated.
Invalid.
Yep, invalidated.
I just got a quick bit of tea. Tom AJ is saying, should we wait for quali to finish? Why are we restarting just because you lagged out?
Yeah, I don't think that's the plan. I think the plan's to get the grid and then do the custom grid like restart for the race.
We're doing custom grid. I will be hosting the lobby and I'm going to invite Cam.
Prenz moves up to 6 right at the end, so wow, the symmetry continues. We've got Mercedes 5 and 6. Game Freaker goes up to 9th on mediums, and I think
that's quality.
Free Gloves is not on a lap, so that is it. Calm Bros takes his first pole position. It's a McLaren 1-2 on the grid. It's a Renault 3-4. and a Mercedes 5.6. That's very good on the eyes, that symmetry of colours that I see there at the front.
It certainly is. Right, I'm going to leave this session and I'm going to go get the new lobby up.
No worries at all. So, you can see there the grid that we've got. Carnbros and Ugi Azim on the front row of the grid, but Volker is the one to watch out for. Less than a 10th off pole position and on medium tyres, so great effort from the Renault driver, it has to be said. And his teammate up in 4th as well. And I've got to be honest, like, you look, the top 2 from last week, 13th and 10th, that's not where you would expect them to be. I mean, even though Super Guy NL was on mediums, that's still 8/10 off what Volker did on the same tyre. So that's not what he would have wanted. There's a grid dent. Further down, we've got Tom AJ in 7th. Tim Matz with 8th. I think he'll actually be quite happy with that, considering his thoughts on Singapore. The track. Game Freaker is 9th. Pinson 10th. Alex is 11th. Free Gloves in 12th. Super Guy NL 13th. Cam 14th. Trench in 15th. We've got the one I can't say in 16th. Noim in 17th. Ryan, of course, with the qualifying ban, but he still goes ahead of Powdy, who never actually got a lap time in at the back. So that's the grid for the race, and we're now having a lobby restart, which my co-com Bryn will be hosting.
Yep, I'm sorting things out right now, so it is clear. Then I'm going to gather it's going to go like it's maybe rain, so I'm just going to put the weather as that. I'll wait for confirmation from Cam. Vehicle damage full. Of course, got to set all these settings up right. Okay, yeah, okay. I think that's. Hold on, I need to change one thing here. Change this to that. Right, let's get Cam invited so I can. This is slightly awkward on stream having to try and do this because I already speak to myself when doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, now let's get that done. Yep.
I'm just going to back out the lobby as well.
I just went to go and select a car then by accident.
Sounds like Game Freak is going to host again from next week onwards. From what he's saying.
I mean,
if it works for you, though, I don't know, but we'll have to see, I guess.
if this happens again, I might have to end up doing it next season. Next race.
Right. Oh. Let me know when I've got an invite, by the way.
Yeah, I'll invite you a second.
Just minimises how long I have to blue screen it for.
Yeah, that's my problem. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm getting you in now. I've told Cam to join, but he's just not he's not joining it, and people are complaining about invites. I'm like, I can't invite you. I do not have a list. So he can get invites handed out.
Yeah, we'll be underway shortly. Should just be a couple of minutes away. Shouldn't be an issue at all.
Sorry about that. Starting grid, yeah, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. Check everything is all correct because I don't want to get bollocking from somebody. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Cam will check all the settings, it's not a problem.
I can't select spectator, fun. Formation lap is yes.
Yeah, just a short delay here, guys. Anyone watching, get your predictions in for who you think will win the race. I'm not going to do that myself because, like I said, I'm a monumental jinx, and I don't want anyone chasing me down in DMs later, so I'm going to leave that to you guys. But yeah, who do you think's going to win this race? It's a very tough race to call, I have to say. You know, the grid's super close. Obviously the lap time that catches my eye is focus time on the mediums in third, but you know, it's tough to call.
I'm better start getting the custom grid in.
A comment from Super Guy NL says I'm screwed with a few laughing emojis.
Right, okay, so one thing I'm just going to comment on quickly is that they need to make sure they start on the right tyres.
Yeah, so there was, if I'm right in saying, I believe, obviously we know fur covers on mediums.
Oh, I don't have the right screenshot. Oh, shoot. Hold on, I'm going to have to go stream. I hope they do not ready up yet.
Nah, they
We'll have
won't
to go
ready
back
up.
and stream.
You've got time.
Come on. There we go. Oh god, I can only see down to... Oh my god. This is stressful. This is stressful. Gotta love it though. Right, okay, come on bros, move up to P1. Then to P2 we need his teammate. And who's P3? That is... Sorry about this running commentary, I always do this when I'm doing stuff, it's just... It's a me thing.
No worries.
Don't you just hate it when you're trying to do something and your phone decides to start going off?
That's why I have mine eternally on silent.
No, it's the screen's going dim on me when I'm trying to do something.
Yeah, mine's going to do that soon because it's nearly dead. But at least everyone's now in the lobby. Vapor Trench is the last one who's just joined.
Right, I'm just making sure. Now we need my ex-teammate. Then we need the goat. Then we need Pinson or Pinson, whatever. We need the Red Bull of. Yep.
Apparently Alex was saying we wanted to do his soft slap at the end, but his screen freezed when Hurst migrated. So I ruined him. That's the reason why his last attempt didn't go to plan.
Hopefully you scroll down on the screen. Please say you scroll down the screen.
I believe I did,
No.
yeah.
No, you didn't.
I'm sure I did. Absolutely certain I did, because I read out down to 19.
Oh, yeah, there you did. You did it earlier on instead of doing it towards the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. That's that. That's nah, right, okay. No, I don't want to view profile, not back. Confirm changes. Okay, back. Spectate, right. I better say they can go.
Is it all sorted?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I should not commentate, but sadly I have to, because I want to. And I mean, like, when I've got an opportunity to be alongside you, why wouldn't I take it?
Fair enough. Yeah, so just checking. Yeah, we got Williams missing. Yeah, that's fine. That's Harold. So yeah, everyone's in. That's all good.
And it's go, go, go! And it's lights out, and away we go for the second time.
Well, Singapore round 2. It's always a long one at Singapore. It's going to be slightly longer for these guys, but we've got qualifying out the way. And we've got an all McLaren front row, and it'll be interesting to see, at least for me, how the two McLarens approach for turn 1, because I don't really know as a team dynamic what they're like. So will we see them quite attacking at turn 1, or will we see it sort of go into formation? It's not a very particularly long run down to turn 1, so it's not very easy to gain places really, unless there's some carnage.
They're just asking me formation lap, and I'm like, yes, formation lap. Yeah, of course, you can't have a race without a formation lap.
Yeah, formation lap has to be on. I know it's some people.
I
will be
mean,
annoyed
if it isn't on by accident, well, I am gonna be screwed.
Nah, I mean it'll give us time as well to check what tyres everybody is on. Obviously, making sure that those in the top 10 are on the tyres that they should be.
I'm just saying.
I know Foka was on the mediums, but I believe somebody else should be on mediums as well. But I just can't remember who.
I just said about correct tyres, please. In the chat.
Yep, no worries.
But let's get underway, and well, hopefully I can stop being annoying. Let's go on with this.
Well, God, this has been stuck on a please wait screen for so long.
Oh, Ugi Azim. I don't see anyone's names on the side. Oh, Ugi Azim may be the problem that causes everything.
Well, mine's not even loaded up yet. I'm still on the please wait screen.
Oh, I can see everybody's name. I can see the grid. Not the grid, the pit lane.
This is fantastic. Oh dear.
XL Ryan, your wife plugged into a tree, Ugi Azim. WTF.
I'm still not in the lobby yet. What the hell?
Slightly awkward. Ugi Azim wants another restart. We can't do an... Wait, what?
Right, what I might have to do... Oh no, because I'd have to restart the stream, won't I?
Yeah, you have to...
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
If you can't hold us up...
Oh, there we go. Oogie's left and now I'm in.
Yep. See, I told you, just be patient. This is where I got blamed on the 24-hour event because my internet was being bad. Jess blamed me. As soon as Paris Burrell left, we were all fine.
Anyway, we're all in, and we've lost our provisional second place.
Oh dear, Ugi Azim isn't a happy bunny. And we're now on... Are you stuck on the waiting for plays as well?
Yeah, I'm still on that. I don't think anyone's readied up though. I think
it's because everybody might be picking tyres or something. Don't know.
Alright.
Ugi Azim isn't a happy bunny. Oh my god, Ugi Azim is absolutely going off in the chat. Having a go at my ex-teammate now.
Right.
I'm just gonna go with the arrow ups.
Just checking something. There we go.
Right, we're ready.
Yep. Hopefully it's there we go. It's formation lap, so you're safe. Yeah, Big C's just confirmed everything. So yeah, we're all good, ready to go, and it'll be just be the Calm Bros on the front row of the grid then. And Prenz and Tim Mats are already disqualified from the formation lap, so their tyres are going to be nice and up to temperature.
No spurt.
When they start. Yeah, now sunburt. That's the best I'm going to get. So gonna go.
Yeah, sunburt.
Oogie obviously now controlled by an AI, as you can tell by the fact they're not bothering to warm up their tyres. Let's have a look then at the tyres that they'll be starting on. Yeah, Game Freak. That was the other one I knew who was on mediums. I couldn't think of who it was. But yeah, everyone's...
I won't give it to them. They did stick to right.
Yeah, everyone's on the right tyres, and to be honest, not too much of a surprise, certainly in my point of view, but everyone outside the top 10 is starting on mediums. So just the 8 drivers out of the top 10 starting on softs, no one else outside the top 10 going for that. And to be fair, that makes sense. The hard tyres around here I don't think are that good, so...
No, they really aren't off the start. But then it's sometimes better to make that compromise and have the mediums at the end, but of course, yeah, raining at the end, so we'll have to wait and see. Just enough.
This puts Fokker in an even better position now, because he's technically P2 behind the Calm Bros on the grid on those medium tyres, so he's in a really nice spot here, and it could be interesting to see just how his start goes. Game Freaker as well in the top 10 on those tyres is very good too, so this is going to be an interesting one for sure, and I don't know, I think we're going to get a very different podium to what we had last week. I mean, we already know we're not going to have Jonas on it because he's not here. But the two guys who were first and second last week, both outside the top 10. Well, Pinson in 10. But here we go then. Formation lap nearly over. The Calm Bros getting ready to line up on the grid. Oogie will be somewhere down the road as well with his AI-controlled car. And you can see a few drivers already on the grid, of course, due to their collisions on the formation lap. This will be an interesting month for the Calm Bros. He's never been in this position in a league race before. On pole position, how will he cope with those nerves through his first lap? It probably helps the fact that he knows that P2 is not there.
Yeah. Right.
Here we go then, the lights illuminating in front of the drivers then, and when they go out, let round 2 at Singapore commence. The lights were a bit too quick there, so we're just waiting for the drivers to get underway. Love it when the game does this. Oogie is... Wait, what?
Oogie's back in. Yeah, because I invited him.
Ah, Oogie's back into the lobby, but he's got a drive-through penalty for a jump start. The Carnbros gets away nicely. Oogie's had a slightly sluggish start and is under pressure from both of the 2 Renault drivers, but holds P2 for now, but of course has that penalty. Foker now going up the inside and taking the 2nd place off the line. Brandon defending from TB Sen further down the order, and looks like he may have lost that 4th place to the Mercedes driver. So couple of movers, and looking further down the field, it looks like that Game Freak has had a good start on the medium tyres. Brandon coming back at TB Sen, and there's a big crash at the back, and Cam...
Williams. Cam just sent it from nowhere and ended up causing a collision between Tim at 3 Gloves and himself. So all I'm going to say is that from my point of view, that was 100% Cam's fault. Yeah,
I'm sure that'll be sent into the stewards and they'll be able to see it from multiple perspectives. But yeah, virtual safety car out following that incident. No big surprise there, it has to be said. And big blow there for 3 Gloves, Tim Mats and Cam, who are all now languishing at the back. And Cam definitely has damage. I'm not too sure about the other 2. But Poker has got up into 2nd there, and Oogie getting that jump start. I guess with all of obviously the stress of just getting into the lobby, perhaps just a bit too eager off the line. We've got Brandon as well in P4 just behind Oogie, and really this couldn't have been a better first lap for the Carnbros. He's already got a decent margin in the lead, as the virtual safety car will surely end very shortly.
Certainly, and yep, green flag. Oh, that was a snap.
that is putting the power down and some from the Carnbros. I love that restart, very enthusiastic. Oogie straight into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty for the jump start. A huge blow for him, not what he wanted, but it's Foker in 2nd. Brandon under prep from TB Sen, and look at that on the medium compound tyres. What a start for Game Freaker from 9th to 5th.
Now we're going to see the is Tim Matt staying out? Wait, what? Why is he staying out with damage? He's got damage on that Red Bull, but he's staying out.
It's a bit of a weird one there. Oogie Azim has served his drive through. He's back out there. 3 Gloves going onto hard tyres. Cam onto mediums, but it's going to be a long race for those guys. They're going to be hoping for a safety car, of course. We're back up front. The Carnbros leads away. Foker in 2nd. Brandon 3rd. TB Sen doing a good job in 4th at the moment. And looking like he wants to get past that Renault, who's just falling away from his teammate at the moment. And yeah, Brandon not looking like he's got the pace of his teammate right now. It's Pinson up to 7th, Super Guy and L up to 9th. The big gainer off the start, it has to be said, is the driver with the qualifying ban, Ryan, from 18th all the way up to 10th.
That is impressive, I will say, because this track is very hard to overtake. Yeah, he's managed it.
Yeah, no advantage of tyres either, the same tyres as everyone else, and he's just seemed to have found a way through and up into the top 10, so that qualifying ban not doing too much harm for him at all, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on, because we don't really know from qualifying what his pace is, so I guess we're going to find out over the course of the race. But it's absolutely fair to say already that the top 2 just seem to have more pace than Brandon behind, and I don't know, is it fair to say in a way that Brandon's probably holding up a couple of drivers behind him at this stage? Good effort from Mercedes as well. We're up in 6th with Friends, doing a good job at the moment. Tom AJ still up there as well, but he's starting to come under some threat from Super Guy and L, who's trying to make the move. We've got Tim Matt's finally in the pits now, a lap too late, I would suspect.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't realise he got damaged, but surely that's something you would know. But either way, he's now into the pits on hard tyres.
I will comment on tyre wear, just going on, because of course these guys will be on fresh softs and fresh mediums. We'll probably see the likes of Carnbro pit in lap 7, 2 laps longer than usual.
Yeah, that would probably be around the pit stop window to go for, and I think as well for the Carnbros, he's going to be looking in his rearview mirrors soon, because Foker's starting to just bring our gap down slightly. Brandon's still just a few tenths off on this lap for focus pace, so not quite able to keep up with his teammate at the moment. But again, another driver who just seems to thrive in these unpredictable races, particularly around street tracks, I would say, is Game Freaker. And once again, he's just there or thereabouts on the medium tyre, doing a very good job at the moment.
Catching TB Sen very well.
Yeah, he could have a potential opportunity to overtake, but of course they will both have the aid of DRS because TV Sen was within a second of Brandon. And you can already see the typical thing at Singapore where drivers just start to spread out a little bit. Super Guy and Elva right on the back of Tom AJ. I would say at the moment that's the most likely move looking at it, because Super Guy and L looks very eager to pass the AlphaTauri.
Me and Tom AJ have some bad memories here together.
Hopefully there won't be any more bad memories this evening for Tom AJ. He's got some defending to do here against the Ferrari. Super Guy and L tries to go right round the outside. They leave each other just enough space. Tom AJ going back around, see if he can make it past, but can't. There's a bit of contact there, but Super Guy and L takes the position on Tom AJ and moves up to 8th place, and that was a crucial move to make because there's no doubt about it, he was being held up at that stage. It'll be interesting to see what Tom AJ can do in response to that. But next up for Super Guy and L is it's Pinson, who of course he beat to the win last week.
He did, but Volker is catching up to Carnbro. He's 5/10 now.
Yeah, I wonder if Carnbro's was a little mistake somewhere, because that gap's come down very quickly indeed. So Volker right on the back now of Carnbro's, but I mean they're comfortably pulling clear of the guys behind. So Volker's pace right now just looks really, really strong. Didn't have a too spectacular opening race, it has to be said. But coming into this one, he's doing pretty alright. In fact, actually, yeah, of course, I was just thinking about what happened to Volker last week. He didn't actually start last week's race, so we really are seeing the first of him this week, and it's fair to say that he could be one to look out for if this sort of pace is rectified in future races. But Volker right there with Carnbros, and it looks like only a matter of time before he can get the move done.
I think it may even be this lap. Yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, he's going for it.
Yeah, down the inside. This is going to be quite a simple move. I don't think the Carnbros is going to fight it too much, because right now Volker just has more pace than him, and it might just do Carnbros all the best good in the world to not fight it and just lose the minimal amount of time possible as he picks up more oversteer. The rear end on that McLaren looks loose, to say the least. So that won't do any help with tyre wear, that's for sure.
It won't. I'm just gonna quickly... Wait, I'm confused with the game. Because apparently Yuki Azim is in last place. He's a lap down from Matt. And they're catching him again when he's in P16.
Yeah, that's a bit of a strange one. Hopefully it'll sort itself out as Super Guy and L moves down the inside of his Pinson. That's a brave move. I tell you what, he's absolutely flying in that Ferrari, but that was a very ambitious move, and it just... Thankfully they both got through it unscathed, but he's absolutely charging right now, Super Guy and L. It's difficult to know like where this charge will end, but again, it looks like only a matter of time before that move's done, as once again my game decides to do its own thing and start flickering for no reason. That's very annoying.
I will just comment on, obviously Super Guy and L's got the same thought as me yesterday, being very impatient, to say the least.
Ooh, Carnbros is in the pits now.
Early, that is early.
And he's onto hard tyres, and what on earth is my game doing? This is really irritating now. Stop doing that! It keeps flickering on the stream. I do apologise to those that are having to view this, because this is incredibly annoying. There we go, I think I fixed it. And yeah, so the Carnbros pits onto hard tyres and rejoins in P14, so nicely done there. Tom AJ comes out the pits. He's onto medium tyres, so that would suggest to me that maybe a two-stopper for Tom AJ as opposed to a one-stop for the Carnbros. So interesting little variance in strategy there, and Tom AJ rejoins just behind Ugi Azim, who is definitely not 19.
You say no. I think Ugi Azim's got the glitch that Spaghetti Chips actually had. Spaghetti Chips in F5 had a glitch where he was ghosted and it said he was last on laps when he really wasn't. He was actually in P5. And drivers went to go and drive through thinking he was lapped, and that ended up causing him to push off and like go off track and that.
Yeah, Tom AJ's made his way past Ugi Azim, so that's going to be a real tricky one, but hopefully it doesn't play too much of a part in the end result, I suppose. Got to say though, as I expect here, we're going to see more pit stops. No, Brandon and TB Sen opt to stay out, but this is incredible. We're only on lap 7, and look at the gap that Folk has already pulled out.
It's immense, to say the least. Maybe Folk missing the first round was just like, oh yeah, I'll miss it casually just so that I can dominate the rest of the races.
I won't let everyone know just how quick I really am. Game Freaker though, looking very close behind TB Sen. He's using his overtake. I think he fancies a move here for P3. Game Freaker going to the inside. There's no doubt about it. At this stage, the medium tyres are the ones to be on, and Game Freaker moves up into 3rd place. TB Sen will try and fight it back, but can't do so. And Game Freaker is yet another driver on the march, and I get the feeling that we're probably going to see the remaining soft tyre runners in at the end of this lap, because they look like they're really struggling now.
It won't be the fact of their on tyre wear too bad. Well, it will be, but it won't be. It mainly be the overheating of the tyres that are causing them problems.
I just wonder though, in terms of Renault though, the job that Brandon's doing at the moment is perfect for his teammate.
It really is. He's holding back Game Freaker, who is also his rival effectively in this race right now, second medium drive. So Brandon's helping his teammate out by creating that gap even bigger and bigger and bigger, and holding Game Freaker back. Yeah,
Poker's in a lovely position right now, and just continues to stretch out that lead. I wonder, will Brandon be in at the end of this lap then, or will he stay out for another lap just to help his teammate out that little bit more?
Super Lionel's on the inside of Prenz.
Yeah, and Prenz wanted to pit. He can't, because Super Guynell's on the inside of him. In fact, his teammate pits anyway, so he has to stay out. The Super Guynell down the inside before we got really to turn 22, and in fact, he's not the only one, because XL Ryan takes advantage as well. So, in the space of a couple of corners, Prenz loses 2 places.
Well, probably might lose another one soon, because Averell Alex is now catching up, so...
Yeah, not the lap or so that Prenz need, and of course on the soft tyres he's really going to be struggling with the overheating on this lap, and obviously he couldn't pit anyway because his teammate was in. So Mercedes there probably could have done with Colwyn in TB's then a lap sooner, I would suggest, but nevertheless it's kind of left Prenz hung out to dry in that regard. Focus leading out to 9 seconds over Game Freaker. This is absolutely astonishing stuff. And Ryan's pace as well, I've got to say, another driver who under the radar a little bit is Ryan, because you know he's not letting Super Guynell just drive away from him.
No, he's kind of just being with. It's what we would do, say in cars, and you just work with the driver in front to get through the field. That's what he's doing right now, and it's working really well for him.
Absolutely, as Alex goes for the move down the inside of Prenz. Trench has left the session, not sure what's happened there, but Alex up to 5th place, Prenz down to 6th. A move that was quite inevitable really, but Alex having a good fight back in this race so far, but he has some catching up to do to get up to the next group of 2, I suppose, in Super Guynell and Ryan. Looking further down, Carnbro still is in front of Brandon by 6 seconds. Obviously Brandon, very much, his strategy was very much just helping out his teammate, I think, in that opening stint of the race. But now on those hard tyres, he can just basically run until either the end of a race or when the rain comes and need to switch to winters. So in that regard, it's not too bad. Prenz is in the pits, as is Ryan. That is an early stop on mediums, I would say. So Ryan in the pits for his first stop.
He's gone. Cam's gone again.
Cam has left for session. Internet problems for Cam this evening, unfortunately. That's not what he needed to go with the first lap collision. But yeah, I've got to admit, that's a big surprise to me that Ryan's made such an early stop.
It is. Maybe Ryan's going to try and get the undercut on Game Super NL, but I don't think it's going to work at this point.
No, I think you need really... Those hard tyres won't be that quick straight off the block, so it's going to be tough for him. And if Well, it'd be interesting thing now, of course. Will Super Guy L feel the need to respond to that stop, or will he just keep on with his own strategy? Because I don't think he would have thought to pit this early, but maybe XL Ryan triggers him into an earlier stop.
I think he may trigger him into an early stop, but not this early. I think he may go another lap before he actually does it. Because all I'm going to say with XL Ryan going on to hards this early, he's going to have worse tyres when it comes for the rain conditions, so he's going to have less grip available for when it does rain. So got to think about what's the smarter decision here. Super Guy, yeah, stays out.
Yeah, Vapor Trench had just been overtaken by Powdy, but that's because he's yet to retake control of his car. He's still being controlled by the AI, so Powdy moves up a spot to 6. What's interesting here, I've just noticed actually, Tom AJ, who I believe was one of the very early pit stoppers, he's actually now in front of Brandon. So it just shows how much Brandon was struggling on those soft tyres. He's actually lost a place to Tom AJ.
Yeah, but don't forget Tom AJ, compared to them, will have to pit in again before the rain. Carlbros is struggling out on them hard, I will say.
Yeah, not finding much pace on them at all really right now, but he's made his way past, well, I would say he's made his way past Norm, but Norm's just actually pitted a few early stops from mediums to hards, which does surprise me a little bit. I thought they may have gone a lap or two longer on that. Looking at the gaps up front, to be fair, even with Foka now coming under threat from somebody who is trying to chase after him, Foka's still very much not only keeping the gap as it is, but slightly extending it as well.
What is going on? Ugi Azim's going backwards in the pit lane.
What on earth? Okay, I'm switching away from that immediately. I've got no idea what I'm seeing there.
Oh no, he's coming out the pit lane on the same stop.
I've got no idea what Ugi's... to be honest with Ugi, it might just be best just to retire on this one, because I think it's just his thing is glitched beyond repair, I would say, at this point. As Carmbros gets past Vapor Trench. Vapor Trench rejoined the lobby some time ago, but still hasn't taken control of his car. So I don't know if there's some issues there, but Carmbros back up.
I don't think he was how to. I'll go and have a quick look. Go do some investigating.
One battle that could be about to unfold. Super Guy and L is closing up to the back of Game Freaker now. Just less than a second between them. So he has reeled in the Alfa Romeo, but Game Freak's pace still pretty solid. And just looking at the gap back to Alex, Alex isn't really having any impression on either of them. So right now, Game Freaker and Super Guy have kind of got the Red Bull covered in that regard.
Yeah, they have. I mean, at this point, them lot have just pulled away from the whole pack, and it's just a Volker's his own kind, but then apart from that, it's a 2-horse race between Super Guy and L, and Game Freaker.
Yeah, definitely. Then Game Freaker's got some defending to do here, I reckon. That's just Vapor Trench losing more positions. Super Guy now, oh, massive! That was a really scary moment on board with a Ferrari driver. Had about 2 or 3 tank slappers coming out the hairpin, and managed to keep hold of it, but lost some momentum against Game Freaker. But I think he'll be happy he's not in the wall after that.
I think he better be as well. I'm just going to try and invite Cam back, because lagged out. I don't think he had another invite anyway. We'll try and get him back. But Cam was just saying in the chat, oh, if you see my POV, you'll think different. Oh, Volker's in!
Volker pits. It's an early call. He didn't really need to pit that early, I wouldn't have thought, but he's opted to do so. Yep, Super Guy L follows. That's a more understandable stop, because Super Guy L absolutely will want to try and get the undercut on Game Freaker, but I'm a little bit surprised Volker's coming so early.
I'm not. I think that is the right point for him. He's timed that right.
And he rejoins the track. He's in beautiful clear air. He's in front of Powered, he's rejoined in P3. He's just looking all sunshine and roses for him right now. Absolutely in control of this one at the moment. And where does Super Guy and L rejoin? Well, that's the thing. Super Guy and L went some laps longer, and he's back behind. He's now behind Ryan. So Ryan triggering that early stop has helped him in that regard, and that may also suggest as well that Ryan would. Well, that should suggest that Ryan will jump Game Freaker as well.
really. Ryan's, though I thought it was stupid, his time is right, obviously.
Yeah, he's managed to get those hard tyres working in good enough time, and he's in a good, solid position right now. Well, it's 9th on the road, but of course there's a few different strategies out there. And we've still got a Game Freaker who I suspect will surely be in at the end of this lap to try and cover off Super Guy, but I don't think it'll be too much avail. I think that undercut will be done. Brandon, once again, is just in front of TB Sen, and I tell you what, that Mercedes will be getting sick to the death of the sight of that rear of that Renault.
That's the problem. Oh, Game Freak staying out again.
Maybe he's thinking, well, I'm probably going to lose the position anyway, so why not have some fresher tyres?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm going to say about this all is Game Freaker, though he is a good idea going out longer, he's just going to lose more time to Volker. As who's that coming in? That's Sunbert, or however you say it. That's the closest we are going to get, as you said earlier. But at this point, Game Freaker's going to come out 12 seconds behind Volker.
Yeah, and that's only going to go up the longer he stays out. Super Guy's got a penalty. And I tell you what, looking at the sort of group he's in, it's a very closely knit group from Tom AJ down to, well, even Prenz, you could argue. So that penalty for Super Guy could be very crucial come the end of his race. Because not only does he have to do some overtaking, he'll then need to build a gap as well. I wouldn't expect to see too many penalties around here. Just because it isn't one of the tracks really where you extend that often.
It isn't. There's only, like, I would say in my opinion, there's only 2 opportunities where you could easily get a warning.
Oh, more contact there. Brandon and Powdy making contact going through the middle part of the lap, and that was super close to a real big problem there. Powdy just about keeping a traction there. I thought he was about to lose another place. TB Sen dives down the inside into the hairpin, and Powdy will just find himself falling down the order as more drivers pass him. Ryan's followed suit, and his Super Guy and L thinking of following through as well. He's going to... No, he's not. Thinks better of it. And Powdy drops down 4 places pretty much in the space of about half a lap.
So the Game Freak is still not coming in, but now he's 14 seconds unsafe. Ooh.
Yeah, and looking at it, if we'd say 25.5 seconds for a pit stop round here, at this rate, he's probably going to come out behind Prenz.
At this rate, he will, yeah.
So
if we just look at this, he's going to come out in P10. I think he'll come out P9, P10.
I think his target at this rate will just be to try and get ahead of Alex. That would be the ideal thing for him. If he can get in that little gap between Prenz and Alex, that's not too bad for him, but I almost feel like he may have just called it a bit too late on this one.
Yeah. Staying up 14 laps now.
The only thing I'm potentially wondering is, with a threat of rain later on, is he maybe thinking of trying a soft stint?
That never came into my head. That never once crossed my mind, and I don't think he will, because them softs will do like 5 laps and he'll be literally be in that car crying for help because he wants the hard tyres.
The only reason I can think is why he's staying out so long though, because it wouldn't really even... Fresher hards would be... Oh, and that's not helped his case either. He just picked up a penalty as well, so that's not going to do him any good either. Foker is closing him down hand over fist. The gap between Foker and Carnbros is 8 seconds. That shows as well how much Carnbros has struggled on those hard tyres, because it really was nothing between them when Carnbros made that stop.
Finally, 3 gloves in.
Yeah, Game Freaker in the pits then from the race lead, and if our calculations are correct, he should slot in right into that gap between Prenz and Alex.
He's on softs, you're right!
Yeah, he's going for softs, so he is going for a bit of a gamble here. Interesting call. This is... I'm going to keep my eye on Game Freaker here, because he's definitely going for it. Maybe he's got sources telling him the rain's not too far away.
Certainly. Oh, that is an interesting thing. And he has slotted into where he predicted.
Yep, that's perfect for him, just behind Prenz. He actually wasn't too far behind Prenz, so that's not too bad. But yeah, he's gone for the soft tyre, so he talked about some maybe different strategies this evening. Well, Game Freak has definitely done that, and I expect certainly next sort of 3-4 laps, he's going to be on the absolute charge here.
He's going to be able to cut through that field like it's butter. He's like it's soft butter.
Definitely. Game Freaker then is already on the back of Prenz. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. What's that all about?
I don't know. Oogie Azim's in the pit lane.
Oh god, he's going back. He's going backwards again, isn't he?
No. Okay, that's odd. He must have crossed the pit lane exit because the way he's come back on track, it looks like he has as well. But interesting. But he's finally offered them soft tyres after 15 laps.
Beautifully done, from Game Freak. He uses his overtake on the exit of the hairpin and makes his way past Prenz. That's his first target done. Next up will be Super Guy and L, who once again is kind of caught in a bit of a traffic jam here with TB Sen. Brandon as well, but he's kind of a second away from TB Sen now. So if anything, you could argue it's a Mercedes driver that's holding these guys up a little bit more. Tom AJ's the cork in the bottle, of course, because with his strategy, he should have to stop again, although maybe he's trying to also take those mediums until the rain comes.
That is... Ew, it's not bad.
Oh, Calm
that
Bros!
Is Sunbird.
Oh, what's happened to the Calm Bros? Because the Calm Bros just lost the place to Tom AJ. He was 2 seconds ahead, now he's behind him, so I've no idea what's happened there. Must have been a real big mistake from the McLaren driver, and he's down to 3rd place, and... well, this race just falls even nicer for Foker at the moment because his closest rival has now dropped down the order down to 3rd, and I don't know what happened there. I saw the yellow flag come out and then I saw Carnbros drop down. I don't know if it was a separate thing with the racing point. Yeah. That was a bit of an odd one then. If I had to guess with Carnbros, maybe he went down the escape road and reset the track or something.
Maybe.
But lost a couple of places there and has lost the place to Tom AJ, and that's very crucial now. And Tom AJ's got now, it was Brandon earlier, now it's Tom AJ who's sort of leading a huge train of cars. And this isn't good for Game Freaker in a way, because the last thing he needs is trying to be cutting through a train that will all have DRS.
They really, this is something you don't often see around here, DRS trains. Yeah. We hate, but we love them.
Foker's going to be wondering what all the fuss is about behind him, but can Game Freaker find his way past these hard tyre runners? He should have better traction maybe coming out of the final few corners here, maybe have a go into turn 1 if he's got the best run out of there possible. He's in overtake mode. Is he close enough? I don't think he is. So he has to back out of that one, but he's going to have so much more grip. So there should be more opportunities that present themselves. And he definitely must be one of the quickest drivers on track right now.
Game Freak's going to send up the inside of turn 5.
Going to go for him inside turn 5. He gives the Ferrari driver the space there. That was good racing between the pair of them. He hasn't got much overtake left. That's the only problem for Game Freaker now. So
will he send it on the brakes though?
No, he doesn't. And I wonder if
could have got away with that.
Is this where Game Freaker's progress kind of grinds to a halt? These are where he needs to make the most of his soft tyres. He would not have wanted to be in this train of cars.
Really does not at all. I mean, look at how far this goes from Tom AJ all the way down.
And you look as well, like Super Guy Nell's got so much more ERS to use. So it really doesn't help Game Freaker. He's kind of drained a lot of his ERS deployment. So he's going to have to be a bit more daring on the brakes, I think, if he's going to make his way through this group, and he goes for it! Down the inside! Oh, there was a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Game Freaker gathers it up though, but remains behind the Ferrari. That was a bit braver from him, but the Ferrari once again defending the position. And
I'd just like to comment on something. Look at the amount of rubber, if you go on board with Pinson, that has been laid in that corner. It's immense, the amount of rubber.
Oh wow, yeah, I've just seen that. Incredible. I've not seen anything really like that before. That's really immense. As Carnbros and Tommy, what's happened to Tommy J is pitting. Tommy J is pitting. So he's not going to stay out. He's not going to try and keep those medium tyres going until the rain. He has decided to pit and
onto another set.
Onto another set of mediums. Probably a good call in the end, because really he's kind of covered either way really. Those medium tyres could go to the end from here if he needs them to. Or he could also push and then go on to inters if he also needs to. So he's a good balance with those medium tyres, I would say. That's probably the correct tyre to choose. And he's going to come out just behind Sumbert in 12th place, just in front of Tim Matz, who is currently 13th on quite an old set of hard tyres at this stage, it has to be said. And now it's the Carnbros leading the train. It'll be interesting to see if he's got any more pace to try and break away from him, but early suggestions are that he doesn't.
Yeah, I think that early suggestion is going to stay, because I think this is going to be pretty much it to the end unless anything spices up. But I remember Tim Matz was saying to me before the race, he did a strategy in FRL, another league, as he pitted on lap 2 onto the hard, stuck him for 29 laps, finished in Q2. Sadly, we're not going to see that, and I'm going to say I'm not happy to. I wanted him to do well, but I can't be biased, and B, I can't.
Oh, yellow flag is set to free. What's happened to Carnbros? Carnbros has gone round, and he's got damage on his front wing, and that's an absolute disaster for him. He's having such a good race. And wow, from front row lockout to McLaren, it has gone from hero to zero for them. Their race has just gone to absolute disaster, and from a 1-2 on the grid, you're looking now at a situation where it's unlikely McLaren is going to score any points at all. And he gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane to boot. I wonder if we're about to see a retirement here.
I wonder. I am sorry, but I will be back in a couple of minutes. I have, all of a sudden, I've got to do a COVID test now. I'm so sorry.
No problem at all. We're back with the battle for second place. Brandon is now the one at the head of his train, but he's now coming under threat as well. You can see, look at this, 19-second gap out front for Poker. And in a league with people of such similar pace, that's such an incredible gap to have. We've got a safety car out on the track. I think Sumbert has gone round and he's left the session. He's into the wall. And that has brought out the safety car. I don't know if he, I think he should have retired, to be honest, but retired in the pit lane. But he's brought out a safety car, and that reduces Focus gap at the front. That's a disaster for him. The last thing he needed was a safety car with the lead that he had. But that's exactly what's happened. I'm not sure if Sumbert should have done that, to be honest, but nevertheless, he has left the session. Brandon in second. Foker can come into the pits here. That's 1+ side. He's got such an advantage here. But he can afford to pit and put on a new set of tyres. What tyres is he going to go for? I suspect it'll be a set of mediums. To the end, let's have a look. Yep, set of medium tyres goes on, and he's got such a lead, but it doesn't really matter. He can just put on a new set of tyres and go for it. Brandon's in the pits as well. Brandon is in the pits as well, so both runners assigned to pit. TV Sen stays out. Wait a minute, Foker rejoined? Just trying to see here. Foker has not rejoined in the lead. He has dropped to 4th, so the safety car obviously not costing his drivers too much. I thought he would rejoin the lead, but he has rejoined in 4th, but he will have much fresher tyres than those in front of him, so from that perspective he's still in a good position. TV Sen leads away, Ryan in 2nd, Super Guy NL is 3rd, we've got Foker in 4th, it's Pinson now up to 5th, Brandon as a result has dropped to 7th, Game Freaker's soft tyre gamble ultimately hasn't worked, but he's still in the points at 8th, Pren's in 9th, Alex in 10th, the Carnbros is still in the shout of points, but that 5-second pit lane speeding penalty I fear will come back to bite him. So it's TV Sen who leads the way at the moment. Under safety car conditions, Ryan from a qualifying ban to 2nd place on the road. That's quite an incredible turnaround from the Haas driver. And exactly what they needed after a non-point score last week. Super Guy NL, of course, winning last week's race, currently sat in 3rd place, doing a solid job. Foker in 4th. On fresh mediums, he's going to be the one to keep an eye on the restart. You've got Tom, AJ and Brandon too on fresh mediums. A lot of drivers have taken this safety car period as an opportunity to take fresh mediums. Will those on those worn hards be able to fend them off? That's the question. This safety car has definitely brought about a very interesting situation here. Safety car still out there. I suspect he'll be out for another lap. Gives a chance for everyone to catch up. I have no idea where Oogie is in amongst all this. I don't think he's obviously not 6 laps down as it's suggesting. That's an unfortunate glitch, sadly. I think those on hards will be kind of happier the sooner the rain comes, if indeed, of course, it does come later on. Because I mean, as it stands right now, those on the fresh tyres are going to have such an advantage off a restart. I think there's only so much defending these guys will be able to do. But it's quite weird in a way to not see Foka leading this race. But he took the opportunity for fresh tyres, and I can't really blame him from that regard. And he's still in a very strong position. And he's got the sort of advantage, if you like, of having someone behind him on hards who will not really pressurise him off the start, you wouldn't have thought.
Oh, Jake, I'm back. And what's happened? Safety car?
Yep, safety car out. Sunbert had a spin and then retired. And that brought out a safety car. Don't think he should have done that, but nevertheless, we've got a safety car. Foka has...
Sunbert's driving round for me.
Yeah, he's still in the... Well, he left the session. He basically crashed out and left the session. So I think an AI's driving for him.
And Foka's pitted in.
Yeah, Foka pitted in for fresh mediums. I actually didn't think he'd lose the lead when he did that, but he has. Down to 4th. A lot of drivers have taken the safety car period as an opportunity to get fresh tyres, and that's meant that TB10 now leads the race.
Ah, sorry, I've got slightly itchy nose now, but
no worries.
I'll try and gloss around that.
But I mean, he's down to 4th, Foka, thanks to that pit stop. But on those fresh mediums, he should be able to mount an attack, I reckon, against those 3 in front of him.
There's no doubt about it. I think he will, because he's got that pace there. So
the surprise for me, though, when you look at it, the race as a whole, is you got Ryan, who started 18th after a qualifying ban. He's now running in 2nd place. It's an incredible turnaround from a Haas driver, especially after there was no points for Haas last week.
Yeah, they didn't have the best of races, I think, did they?
No. They both finished outside the top 10. No,
I got short memory.
I think the one driver who this safety car probably really didn't help was Game Freaker, because he's had to basically abandon that soft tyre attempt. He's now in front of Brad. No, Game Freaker's pitting again. So Game Freaker's in the pits again. I'm not too sure about this. What's this all about? What's he doing? I'm guessing it must be soft tyres they've got prepared, right? It's
it
inters.
definitely has to be.
Intermediates. Game Freaker is going on to... Game Freaker's going on to intermediates. I don't believe this. What am I seeing?
It's not raining. Wooty, are you I think somebody may be on something. It's not raining on my screen.
Maybe he's hoping it starts raining before safety car comes in and he can just hang on to the inters until it does, but I'm not sure about that person. I think he's called that a bit too early on that one. That's going to be interesting to see.
He did it last season though.
Yep, he's taking a gamble. Well, we've already seen with that soft tyre strategy. Game Freaker's not afraid to think outside the box when it comes to strategy.
He's not.
Game Freaker obviously thinking, I was in 8th place anyway, I'm going to go all or nothing on the strategy and see what happens. The good thing is, of course, safety car takes ages to get around this track, so he's got time to A, catch up, and B, time to wait for and pray for rain. But that removes him, of course, now from that 8th spot and promotes his teammate into the final points paying position. And the other good bit of news for Foka is he's got a car in between himself and the other drivers who've taken on fresh mediums, so that having Pinston there I think will really help Foka off a restart, and he can immediately go on the attack. Safety car is in at the end of his lap. I still don't see rain, and for Game Freaker, that's bad news.
Yeah, I think he's kind of over-optimistic. He's, yeah. But also, just going back to what I said earlier before I went and did something, the rubber laid down. This game is floating. You look at the floor and then you look at the marks, they look like they're floating.
Oh dear. Can never...
Codemasters!
I was going to say, you can never always count on this game for very strange events to happen. TV Sen should be about to put the foot to the floor any second now. And get us back underway here, trying to get he go, and he goes. So we're back underway here, and what kind of move can Foka make off the restart? He'll be determined to try and get us positions as quickly as possible. You can see him there, super aggressive already, showing the Ferrari that he's there. Not that I think the Ferrari needed reminding. We've already got yellow flags. Friends has gone round by the looks of it further down the field. We're going to stick with this as Foka goes down the inside of Super Guy and L, and looks like he may have got that position on traction. Yes, he has. We've also got Tom, AJ and Brandon have had issues. What's happened there? They've gone round. Looks like they've had an incident.
I didn't see that.
Well, those two have been near each other quite a bit of this race, but it's gone wrong for them. Made contact. I didn't see the collision, but both of them round and struggling, and Game Freaker also struggling, but that's for a very different reason, as Foka goes down the inside of Ryan. That's not an overtaking spot under normal circumstances, but with those fresh mediums, he's just got so much more grip than everybody else.
He's certainly not being patient, really not, as Tom's left.
Yeah, he's not retired, but he's left. Obviously, maybe a little bit...
That's Pren's in the wall again.
Well, this is just utterly bizarre at the moment, what we're seeing here. Foka right on the back of TB Sen, and surely it's just a matter of time before he gets the move done. And there's a few drivers here on these fresh mediums who should be starting to make some progress, and Foka just wants to get into the lead and start building that gap as quickly as he possibly can.
Like, he's right in the back of TB Sen now. Doesn't surprise me if he gets it by turn 1 or at least turn 7.
Do I see rain? I think I see rain.
Yeah, rain is coming.
Rain is here. I think it's too late for Game Freaker, to be honest, but nevertheless, the rain is here, and that means that Foka probably wants to get a move on with this sooner rather than later. He's right with TB Sen. Surely on the exit of here, he's going to use his overtake mode to make the move stick. Yes, indeed, does get super traction out the corner. I don't think TV Sen's going to fight this. There's not really much point. And yeah, Foka retakes the lead, and I have to say, deservedly so. He's been absolutely outstanding this evening.
As now Prenz is coming in for pit to get Inters on, and a new front wing. Brander's on Inters, and Game Freaker's still struggling on the intermediates. Why does it make me think he's in AI right now? Because some of his movements are a bit... I don't know, is he in AI? What's the guy break? Yeah, he's left. He's left.
Oh, I wonder... I don't think he was an AI, but I think he may just have become one, so... it's like some more issues there. Very, very strange. The driver I'm keeping an eye on at the moment, though, is Alex, because he's another one on fresh mediums who should be making progress, and he's going down the inside of Pinson here. There's a bit of contact between the pair of them, and Pinson has to give that place up, and he just about can fend off Howdy behind him. But in crucial move for Alex, he's up to 5th, and you can see Foka already extending the gap out front. And these penalties as well are going to be quite crucial come the end as well. Quite a few penalties flying around. But Game Freaker, I don't think that gamble's paid off. He's already 34 seconds off the lead, so even if, you know, even if these guys have to pit, which they may well do, DRS enabled, so not disabled, enabled, and we've got Pinson into the pits. He's going
as well. Oh, yeah. Oogie's round and into wall. But no damage to that McLaren.
Oh, a big blow here for TB Sen. He's just picked up a penalty, and that will mean, as it stands, he will lose 2nd place to Ryan, and I believe as well he'd also lose 3rd to Alex. So right now that penalty could cost TB Sen a podium.
That can cost him a podium at this point.
And you've got Alex now, who will be on the attack against Super Guy and L. We saw him so much on the attack last week. It's very much a different story this time around for him as the drivers start.
Ryan's got it deep.
Oh, Ryan's gone wide.
He's going to try around the outside, but no, Alex is going to dive it on the inside of Super Guy and L. Oh, that was
Something's telling me we're not far away from Inters here, because I think they're really starting to slide around. You can see them really struggling for grip. You've got the Calm Bros now involved as well. Yeah, DRS disabled. So this is where Game Freak... Well, Game Freak has now gone back in for dry tyres.
That's his AI done that.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, he left. I was about to say he was one dry tyre as well, so that really wouldn't make any sense at all. The Calm Bros... Oh, and Tim Mats! Oh, massive slide. I thought he was going to go into the wall there. I'm not quite sure how he didn't. But he was looking like he was going to go on the attack, but he's ended up losing a couple of positions as a result of that massive slide. But I think he'll be thankful he's just not in the wall on that one, because that was a huge moment. Prens.
Have we got a full course?
We've got a full course yellow, but there's no sign of virtual safety car or full safety car. I've got no idea what's going on here. Focus pitting, obviously for Inters, that's no surprise there.
Yeah.
We've got full course yellow, but I can't see a safety car or otherwise. So I don't really know what's going on there. We've just got a full course yellow right now.
Oh, Red Bull are going to have to double stack.
Yeah, Tim Mats is definitely the main driver who's going to lose out here.
Oh, he's driven straight to the wall!
Oh no, Tim Mats into the wall on pit entry. That's an absolute disaster.
So many people have got damage. NL's got damage as well, Super Guy NL. A load of people going into pit lane there, making a big mistake.
Yeah, Free Gloves picked up a penalty for a collision. It's all kicked off in the pit lane. Neumann would have had to queue as well. We've got a virtual safety car.
How did he got a 5-6 time penalty for ignoring yellow flags? And drive through for Pinston.
Speeding under the VSC, he was determined to make up some positions, and he's got a drive through for speeding under a VSC. What on earth is this race? This is absolutely crazy. I don't know what's going to happen from 1 minute to the next.
You know, I am glad that I forced Mats to do practice now in the wet. I am glad I forced him to.
Yeah, next time you may need to get him to practice a pit lane too.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you said that, and not me.
It was a shame as well, because he was in such a strong position. I know he would have had to queue, but I think there was going to be a few drivers queuing anyway, but that is a big blow for him. Foka is now back with a comfortable lead. Pinson, I was going to say, would have really benefited from pitting a lap early for Inters, but as a result of his drive-through penalty, that's kind of gone away now. And of course, round here, the pit lane here is a lot slower than at other places, so it's a bigger penalty here to get a drive-through. So that's I've got a
glitch where we're still under full course yellows.
I've got a yellow flag shown on the map, but it doesn't say like a full course yellow. Yeah, I wonder if the drivers have got that, and we're not going to be able to see any overtaking here for the remainder of the race. That's going to be a bit of a annoyance if so. Well, I say that we've got Vapor Trench and Tim Mats battling. Oh, Vapor Trench's car is ghosted on my screen.
He's not in the session.
Yeah, but he's overtaken. What on earth am I seeing? Tim Mats is battling with two ghosted cars, but Tim Mats has got. Cam's got what?
Cam's AI has
Cam's
got.
AI's got. Okay.
Mats has got to let the AIs through. I think they've got it. Oh, Brandon's round and driven into Mats. Oh dear.
Brandon's round into the wall. A driver who was so far up towards the start of the race, and it's gone all wrong for him.
It seems it's full course yellows for the drivers as well.
Yeah, this lobby is beyond broken. It's a real shame in a way.
Oh
but
no, I'm going to get the blame for this as well.
Oh, don't worry, I'll offer to host.
We're free.
Yeah, we're free. I'll offer to host next week anyway, so it's fine. Foka, the one person who hasn't been affected by this is Foka. He's got an 8-second lead out front again. Ryan is now up to second without penalties, so what a drive that would be. 8 teams to second place, that would be absolutely superb. Pinson is third, but with a drive-through to still serve. So he will drop down. So TB Sen will take third. Alex is still in a position to get fourth. This is absolutely crazy. And to be fair, none of the podium finishers from last week are looking like they're going to score heavy this week. So this is going to turn the championship upside down completely. We've got a yellow. What on earth? I think that's Brandon just retiring.
Yeah, it's Brandon's AI. Not Brandon's. Yeah, Brandon's car.
Pinson, I assume, is going to be in the pits at the end of his lap to serve that drive through. A shame for him because he was looking at another solid result after a second place last week.
All I'm going to say, if Alex can catch TB Sen enough, that could be a podium for Red Bull.
Yeah, still a potentially very good result on there, but he's just outside what he needs at the moment, so he needs to try and close in the Mercedes if he possibly can, or hope that TB Sen picks up another penalty. Pins are really struggling for grip there in the exit of turn 20. He's coming into the pits to serve that drive-through as I thought he might do, and that promotes.
And oh, that was an almost speed, I think it was.
He's going to drop down, I think, to 10th place here. There's a big gap between the Calm Bros and Tim Mats, which I think he's going to fall into. Weirdly, I think that the top 10 is kind of secure in terms of who should get the points from here on in, just because of a gap, but the order's still not secure. Pinson coming out of the pits now. Where is Tim Mats?
Safe.
Yeah, he's going to be 10th place when he rejoins. Ryan's doing a superb job at the moment.
Really is. I think he's pulling in the gap to Folker.
He is. I just wonder if Folker's just thinking at this point, let's just bring it home after everything that's gone on. Doesn't want to take any risks. Super Guy Nell, what's happened here? Neumann, Super Guy Nell are battling. Definitely no yellow flag going on there, and Super Guy Nell has actually moved past Neum to take 6th place. What have they got in terms of penalties? They both got 3 seconds each, so yeah, that is a battle for position essentially. But the interesting one to note there really is Calm Bros, because without a penalty he could be a huge threat come the end of a race with the likes of these two, because he's only about 3 seconds behind them right now, so Calm Bros could move up a few places come the end of a race. To be honest, the odds of Red Bull getting a podium aren't looking too great right now, because TB Sen, if anything, is actually pulling away from Alex.
I'm just going to quickly comment on that. Calm Bros needs to find 9 tenths and he will be P5. Got a full course yellow for me again.
Yeah, same here. I don't know what's happening. Oogie's in the pits. Don't know if that's anything to do with it.
Oogie's not in the pits.
Is he not? Oh, he's just come out.
No, he's at the hairpin.
That's weird. He said he was in the pits on my screen 10 seconds ago. What? I hate his foot blame. I kind of think the lobby's broken due to somebody who's down in P19. I think the lobby's broken due to him. Yeah, it's not been ideal, that's for sure. Powdy's right on the back of. Oh, he was right on the back of Alex. Oh my God, there's been a contact there because Super Guy Nell's actually trying to get past Powdy and has managed it. So Powdy must have made a bit of an error somewhere because he was right with Alex, but now he's lost a place to Super Guy Nell. So down to 6th place for Powdy. Of course, penalties aside. And we're going to see another move further down. Free Gloves trying to move down the inside of Neum and does so. Nicely done there. And the Calm Bros is right there as well. And he just needs to get past these guys to try and basically benefit his race as much as possible when it comes to the penalties. Sorting themselves out come the end of a race.
At this point, the Calm Bros, if I just look at penalties wise, he is going to come in P6, but if he can find some time, he can come in P5.
Yeah, it's looking like he could salvage a good result, and he'll be happy, I think, with that after that unfortunate mistake he made earlier on in the race, because it could have been even better for him if it wasn't for that. But nevertheless, salvaging some points will be a confidence booster for sure. Looks like the gap between Foker and Ryan sort of leveled out now. It's sort of stayed around 7.5 to 8 seconds now, and looks like it's stabilising in that regard. Alex just isn't making any impression on the Mercedes, really, is he?
No.
So it
I
looks
think
like
Alex is going to look to move up any positions now. If anything, lose a position to Super Guy now.
Yeah, but Super Guy does have a penalty, so the longer he can fend him off, the better. And a full course yellow will always help with that.
Yeah.
Right on cue. He's one of the drivers who will not be happy with that. Neither will the Calm Bros, who is trying to make his way past Neum. We're back under green flag conditions for about 20 seconds probably. So Neum's got an opportunity. He's got to try and defend against the McLaren. Trying to salvage something for McLaren today, because I've got to be honest, when Khan had that spin, it didn't really look like he was going to get anything from the race. So at least McLaren may have something to show for their evening's work. got a yellow flag in sectors 2 and 3. I have no idea.
I don't know what's going on with this game. I think I generally, like I said earlier, hate putting the blame on people, but I think Ugi's broken.
Khan's trying to go for a move, but Noim covers the inside, and they just about get through it unscathed. That was super close, and Khan nearly outbroke himself and went into the back of a Haas. But managed to avoid doing so. Back with the battle for P4. Super Guy and L right behind Alex. And yeah, in terms of the wet weather pace, Alex doesn't look like he's at one with the conditions right now.
No.
And
Super Guy
that was one of those. I don't think it was ever really going to work. He was probably better off trying to position himself at the end of his straight, to be honest. And because he's taken that tight one into the hairpin, it kind of removed any chance into the next turn.
Ugi seems finally unglitched. He's in P12.
Ah. So that's where Ugi is after all this.
Yeah.
Oh, Carmbros is... Oh, big blow for the Carmbros. He's got a penalty. That's a real shame for him.
There's his hopes gone. And
we're on to the final lap of the race. This crazy Singapore Grand Prix. It has to be said, and the Fokker will just be happy to see the finishing line. This has been a very intense race for him, but I think he'll be very happy to take the win. If indeed he holds on to it. Of course, we've got a very different sort of track next week in Austria, so that should be a lot of fun as well. And the main battle really on track right now is probably this fight between Alex and Super Guy and L, although Free Gloves may have a chance against Powdy too. Here we go, Super Guy and L around the outside. Alex doesn't... Something's telling me there, if Alex had a penalty as well, he probably would have fought that a bit harder.
Yeah. You watch, now you said that, Alex, poor Alex will go and get a penalty this lap.
Are you trying to suggest I'm some sort of curse? Because you're absolutely right.
I think most of us commentators actually are cursed to all of these drivers, because whenever we say something, it usually ends up happening for the bad.
Joe, I'm going to go on board with Fokker for this final sector. He hasn't had much airtime because he's usually been about 20 seconds in the lead. But this has been a superb drive from him. And, you know, we've had a lot of chaos in this race, a lot of carnage, maybe a lot of bad luck for certain drivers. But I don't think we can say anything other than Fokker is a deserved winner of this race.
Yeah, that has been such a stellar drive from him. And to be honest, like, it's no-brainer in his way to give him my driver of the day as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Superb stuff. Fokker across the line, sees the fireworks and takes the Singapore Grand Prix victory. I think a word for this driver as well, though. From 18th on the grid to second, Ryan with a superb drive to take second. You know, we've had a lot of chaos here, and I think there'll be a lot of stuff going on post-race, but the top two cannot be denied their moment. They've been superb. TB Sen as well will take the final spot on the podium. I think he's had a solid drive too, and had pretty good wet weather pace when he needed it. Super Guy and L, is he going to have enough to beat Alex? Not quite. Alex takes 4th. Super Guy and L 5th. Powdy will be 6th. Free Gloves in 7th for Carmbros, thanks to his late penalty in 8th. Noim in 9th, and Pinson salvages the final point in 10th as Noim has quite a lively end to the race there. And
yeah, we're waiting for Matt.
Yeah, Tim Matt's not in the place you ever want to finish the race, but P11 for him. He'll look back and rue that pit lane mistake.
And now wait for Ugi Azim, who I think, not being mean, caused all this issue, is about to finish. Yeah,
it was second place on the grid for Ugi. It's only 12th in the race for him. We only just got to see where he was in the race come the end of it. Disappointing day for AlphaTauri. 13th Vapor Trench, Tom AJ 14th. I think they left, both of them left a while ago.
Yeah, wait for Prenz, and there we go.
And Prenz moves up ahead of him, but again, he'll probably have put up for more, considering where he was earlier on in the race. But yeah, there you go. That's the end of the race. Obviously, Ryan gets driver of the day with the game. That's no surprise there. He did do an outstanding job, there's no doubt about it, but you just can't look past Fokker after that drive.
Being able to control the whole grid is just... It's a very unique skill to have. And look at that yeet of faith there. Like...
Yeah, well done to all podium finishers. All very well deserved on that podium. And
just a quick question. Look at the F8 Discord. Apparently Game Freak have won to his game.
I don't. I won't say anything else. Just Foker also
Great
gets.
game, Cody's.
Foker also gets the fastest lap. Also,
Yep.
not too much of a surprise there. I mean, look at that as well. I mean, he was actually only a tenth quicker than the car on Rose in the end, but everyone else was nearly a second adrift. There's the rest of the finishing order then. You got Game Freaker down in 17th, according to my game, but it seems to differ depending on whose game you're on. And technically, only the one DNF apparently, which was Brandon, but there's probably about 4 or 5 really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But no, that's
Game
been
Freaker.
that's been the Singapore Grand Prix. That was absolutely incredible. What a mental race that was. Hopefully we have a little bit more normality in terms of a lobby when next week when we head to Austria for round 3. Hopefully that'll be a bit more of a normal race in that regard, and we can focus on the racing for the most part, and not whatever glitches may or may not occur. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to Bryn for joining me once again.
It's been a pleasure to be able to commentate alongside you, apart from when I had to go, sadly. Yeah.
No worries, you'll see both of us again tomorrow. Bryn will be racing in F5, I'll be commentating over F3. But yeah, until next week, that's it for F8, and we'll see you all next time.